Hello everyone and welcome to today's webinar, Take Your Career to the Next Level, join Audencia's full-time MBA program. My name is Martina and I will be the moderator today on behalf of the prep team. In this webinar, you will discover the professional opportunities that an MBA program can provide to young professionals who want to take your career to the next level. Our panelist today is Michelle Christie. She is an International Affairs of Admissions, and she will tell us more about the full-time MBA program and what's the newest in the 2021. During the entire session, you will be able to type your questions in the Q&A section, and she will take time to give you an answer at the end of the event. If you face any troubles with the sound or the presentation, you can switch to Zoom app at the left bottom on your screen. And before we start, can you just please confirm me that you can hear us well?
Hello, everyone. Make sure you can hear me as well.
Great. Michelle, I'm giving the floor to you now.
Okay, thank you very much, Martina. And everyone who's joined us today for this webinar, thanks for taking the time. I know everyone spends a lot of time online and there's so many webinars, so I hope that this one will be useful for you and also enjoyable at the same time. So as Martina said, I'd be very happy to field any questions you have at the end of the presentation, so please put them in. I'll try to keep it rather short as well to leave as much time as possible for the questions, but sometimes I get excited and talk about things carried away, so I'll try to look at the time as we go. So as I said, my name is Michelle. I am in charge of international admissions at Audencia Business School. If you're wondering where my French accent is, I'm originally from the United States, but I've been in France for 30 years. I came here and this beautiful city that I'll tell you more about as well, and ended up staying here. So first of all, before I go into detail about the program itself, about the MBA, I'd just like to tell you a little bit about the school, Audencia Business School. So first of all, when you're looking for a school, you're looking, of course, for academic excellence, and that we have. Our school was founded in 1900, so we just celebrated last year 120 years. So that makes us one of the oldest business schools in France and in Europe. We're also one of the top business schools. You see here, we're generally ranked number 6 in France and the top 40 in Europe. We do have a triple accreditation, expertise in CSR, but it's actually more than an expertise. For me, here you see our 3 pillars, of course, academic excellence, professionalization, international. But the other pillar, are actually the foundation of all that, what's really the DNA of Audencia, is responsible management, is societal responsibility, using business and management as a tool to make a change for the better, to make a positive impact on the world. And that's really what we're about. And if that's something that you're interested in and you're looking not only to have an exciting career, to make money, to make profits, but you're actually really also interested in, it can be at the same time, making a change. It could be in a small way. Each person in a small way can make a change for the better, making a positive impact, either on your country or more globally, or even just a small impact on your company. So that's a bit what we're about. So of course, triple accreditation. If you're looking for an MBA, just the international recognition of the degree would be what we commonly call the Triple Crown. Less than 1% of business schools have these, EQUIS, AACSB, and AMBA. We were re-accredited this year for the maximum length of 5 years. So that's a great sign that we're doing things right. We're ready for another 5 years of recognition. Of course, there's a lot of triply accredited business schools. You see what I'll tell you later, what makes us a little bit different as well for an MBA. Our rankings, another thing, so accreditations, other thing is rankings, of course. This is the rankings for the school. We're ranked in the Financial Times. We have certain programs in the top 55 in the world. Our executive education in general is ranked, sorry, it says tanked. I made I made a mistake. We're not tanked, we are ranked 66th in the world for executive education. My apologies for that. The EQUIS world rankings as well. We have programs ranked in that, including the MBA, which I'll show you later. In France, these are some French rankings of French schools. You see number 6 for academic excellence, the Grande École program. And then what we're really most proud of is actually this Happy at School ranking, because that's the students themselves who've chosen Audencia as number 1 in France for happiness at school, for the study environment, for really being a place where you can thrive and learn, but also really be happy and go to your best potential. So the Happy at School is actually something that we're quite proud of as being number 1 in France. The student's choice. So this is for the MBA in particular. Of course, if you're looking for the MBA, our rankings were number 6 in Europe for diversity by the QS, and I'll tell you more details about that after. Also we have a higher return on investment, meaning, you know, the quality price ratio of what the MBA costs and then what you'll get out of it in terms of a difference in salary from the start to after. The Economist in the most recent 2021, we're number 80 in the world, our MBA. And then once again, number 5 for diversity, both students and faculty. And alumni chapters as well. We're highly ranked. We have this CNN Expansión, which is well known in Mexico, top 60 in the world. And then CEO Magazine, we're in the top for the global MBA rankings, even number 3 for executive education. You can of course look all these up. And now I want to go to, of course, you know, Audencia Business School. It's in France, but maybe you might know or you might not know about Nantes. It is pronounced Nantes. I know the French pronunciation is not always easy. We're, if you can see here, the sixth largest city in France, but it does remain a very relatively small-sized city, as you see. We have less than 1 million inhabitants. It depends on, sometimes I see 800,000, depending on what you count. 60,000 students out of that. So you can see it's a big student city, meaning lots of students, vibrant cultural scene. You have, you can see about where we are near the coast. So we're only 2 hours from Paris by train. There's 1 train per hour, so it's really easy to go to Paris. We're also within 2 hours by flight. There's low-cost flights that go from the airport in Nantes all over Europe. So you can also get the whole European experience by coming here and going off to Madrid, to Rome, to Berlin, etc. And as I said, you know, so many students, it is a very vibrant cultural scene. We're also near the here you can see this is the river. There's the river goes to the middle of the city. You can have an overview of the city and the river. It's very, very beautiful, it's a big cultural hub. And we hope by September, the next intake is September, that we'll be back to this, that students will be able to take advantage of all of what Nantes has to offer, because it is a great experience. There's always, in normal times, of course, now, you know, with the COVID, I can tell what we're doing now. Now we have online classes, are half online, half in person. Here with social distancing, of course, we have big classrooms that we can open up with wearing masks. So it's about half and half at the moment. And we're hoping that by the summer, vaccinations, of course, that we'll be able to welcome everyone in person in September, and that you'll be able to really take advantage of all the city and the traveling around Europe and everything it has to offer. Of course, we have backup plans because, you know, nobody knows what actually will happen. So we can always switch to online 10%, 50%, 100%, and then go back as needed. But that might be something that I can answer in the question session after. But Nantes, really, really beautiful city. That's why I stayed here. Just to give you an idea about the school, our diversity, you saw diversity in all these rankings. Our total, we have about 5,600 students. That's in all of our programs, mainly our master's, undergraduate, etc. About a little over a third are international, over 100 different countries. About half of the teaching staff is international. That's for the whole school. But you'll see for the MBA, it's much more international and much smaller. So of course, what you're looking for as well in an MBA is a career advancement. So we do offer very tailored career services as part of the program integrated into it. So you'll have individual career coaching. You'll have as many meetings as necessary with our career advisors, career counselors, who will go over your background, your CV, ask you questions. You'll have like psychology tests, the markets, and they'll really guide you into saying what, either confirming or perhaps getting a new idea about what is the best career for you and how you can obtain it as well. So there's an internship is an option in the program, you'll see. For that as well, we have internship and job search techniques. We have, you see, almost over 90,000 internship and job offers per year. Of course, they're not all for you, but we'll teach you how to use the system and access that. You'll have lifetime access for that as well through the alumni services. But beyond that, we even have workshops and coaching with different ways about advancing your career, including how to optimize social media and LinkedIn for your career, how to perfect your elevator speech. We do mock job interviews, negotiating your salary, presenting yourself. It goes very deep into how to get that career you're looking for, because of course it's win-win. We have great career statistics, and you get the best career. It's in the interest of both of us. We even help you to write your CV for the international or for the local market, your cover letter, etc. So it's really integrate part of the program is that. And there's even in the MBA, it goes beyond that, where we have a module, what we call self-leadership, which is also working on your soft skills, working on you, not only for your career, but also you as a manager, but you as a person, because it's really important, not just what you know, but who you are in order to really, get ahead at the executive level as well. And it also fits in, we even have things like work-life balance, because it also fits in with our ethics and our values and our ideals. And you're better, I mean, I know everyone has that experience. You're actually better at your job if you're happy and you have a work-life balance as well. There's just a bit about our graduates. We have a lot of corporate partners as well that you'll have consulting projects with them, internship opportunities. There's many different ways that you can work with them. Graduates, I said the alumni services are of course included. You'll have access, it's not only the alumni from the MBA, but also the alumni from all of Audencia and all over the world, which offers continuing education, which offers different networking opportunities, and sorts of different things. Now I get to the heart of the matter, which is the MBA, the program itself. So our full-time MBA is a one-year program. You'll see we say 1 year, but it's actually you have classes from September to June, and then you have your final project that you work on kind of on your own with follow-up of your advisors from June up until September or even December if you do the internship. So it's the European model of a very compact into 1 year. It's entirely taught in English. Because we have students from all around the world and professors from all around the world. So no French is required. You can apply with no French, we just have English as a requirement. However, it is a wonderful opportunity, I think, if you're looking to learn about a new culture, to learn a new language, you can add that onto your CV, or just for your personal development. You can learn French, of course, here. We have optional French lessons. We have what we call a Café Français, where you have French students do conversational French to help you out with that. It's also a great way of meeting people. So it's a plus, but academically, 100% in English. Then I'm just going to go to the next slide because it'll give you a better idea. So if you can see here. So the program starts off in September. I said the next intake is this September 2021. We only have one intake per year. First period is very intense, September to December, because we want to make sure that everybody gets not only the fundamentals in management, but really a very strategic understanding of everything, how a company works, what you need to know in management. And that will not only help you get that, executive strategic view. Also, if you come from another background that's not in management, this will also be very useful. Or if maybe you're focusing on perhaps on finance, you'll also discover marketing and human resources and other things. And at the same time, this will also help you decide, along with the career services, career counseling, academic advice, what you want to specialize in the second term, and also what kind of career you could best go towards. These are just some examples you see here, in finance, HR, strategy, data analytics, start your preparation. But as well, we also have seminars during this time. For example, there's a seminar in sustainable business. That's a 1-week seminar really dedicated to sustainability and CSR. As I said, that is really an inherent part of this program that we integrate into everything we do. There's also workshops and seminars with our MBA community, meaning not just this MBA, but also our executive MBA, French MBA, or it'll be in English, and our MBA in China and our MBA in Africa. So that will be either virtual or in person, these different things. And then you'll move on to the elective period to do concentrations. We call it concentration because it's not enough time to be called really an intense specialization. This is a general MBA. It's not an MBA in finance or an MBA in marketing. So you can either choose corporate finance or entrepreneurship and transformation. Transformation meaning what we call entrepreneurship. So it's for entrepreneur, of course, you want to set up your own company. Entrepreneur, if you're somebody who wants to kind of transform a company from within in strategic fashion, then you can choose either strategic CSR, so how to use corporate social responsibility to enhance the strategy of your company, or innovation and new product development, which is marketing, but not only that, also innovation on a company level. Or you can choose to do an online certificate program. This is, it's online, but you'll still be here in France, hopefully. You'll have classes with students from Boston University in the US and Tec de Monterrey in Mexico. So also extra networking. You'll get a certificate from the 3 schools. And then you can choose one of any of the other 4 concentrations. So these are all your choices. Will help you in the first period decide which is best for you. Then you do your final project. As I said, it can either be a business startup. If you have an entrepreneurial project, we do have an incubator that you can take advantage of, and you can even stay on after you finish your MBA to set up that company. We'll provide all the services you need to help you do that. Or you can do an internship, and in that case, as business analysis, your final project would be an analysis of the business you're doing an internship for. The internships, you will have those offers, and we have career fairs, and we will guide you in trying to find that internship. So trying, because you do have to also make the effort. We'll help you write your CV. We'll guide you into, put you in contact. We'll give you all the tools and the help, but then you can try to find it. You can do your internship in France or other European countries, or back in your own country. There's really, for any of this final project period, you don't have to stay in France. If you do your internship in France, then know that it is paid. That's the law in France. Over 3 months, the internship is paid. If you are looking for a opportunity to stay and work in France, then the internship is the best way to get your foot in the door and get that experience, that maybe the added experience you need, but also about 1/3 of internships do lead to jobs. If you are looking for an internship or job opportunities in France, that's where learning French will become very, very important. That will be very helpful for you as well. Or you can do a research-based dissertation, and then it's really up to you. And then all along, you'll see here professional and career development. Is that self-leadership, career counseling, soft skill development, individual follow-up at each time. What is different about our MBA? This is not all, it's just to give you an idea. Of course, human-centered. It's really about, as I talked about CSR, but it's not just about, you know, business and management, profits. It's you learn about all that, but it's really about you know, you as a person, you as a manager, and even how I said making a positive impact is keeping the human at the center. Responsible, same thing I said, focus on sustainability, so corporate social responsibility. Professional, everything is, it's really how to stay and become and grow as a professional. The classroom will be, you know, experienced professionals. We have a lot of contact with companies. Oh, I forgot to tell you about the consulting mission here. It reminds me, professional. You'll actually be doing, they're actually doing it right now, the students who are here this year, 3 weeks where you work in a group of about 4 students on real missions with real companies, where you'll be doing the analysis and then giving the results, your recommendations at the end. So that's also great for networking and really giving you professional experience. We do case studies, we do business simulations. We have it's really professional focus. International, I'll show you just right after how international it is in terms of diversity. And what I see here, small class, large network. Up here, this will explain it. The average class size is about 35 students. We generally have between 30 and 40. And this is because it is human-centered. It is really, for us, it's really important to work on you and guide individually and really have that experience also working in teams and, you know, together on projects. So that is why we keep the class small. And this, we always get very, very positive feedback from the students on that. Why I say big network is that we have the small class, but then you're linked to the MBA community I mentioned earlier with our French executive MBA and our other MBAs worldwide, which opens up that networking to you. And then of course, our whole alumni network as well. Average age is around 30, 32, 30 something. We usually have about half and half men and women. And that's quite rare, I think, for an MBA. We don't have a quota or anything. I think it's just perhaps our style of MBA attracts equally men and women. Average work experience is around 6 or 7 years. The minimum is 3 years, but we don't have a maximum either, because we think diversity is also interesting in that level, that people with maybe 10, 15 years of work experience can really learn from the young people about, you know, new ways, new approaches. And the young people with only 3 years of work experience can really learn from the ones who have more experience. And then with the small group of 30-something students, we usually have around 15 different nationalities. So that's where the diversity in cultural diversity comes in. These are some examples of countries I looked for the past 4 years that were here. So you see it's all over, you know, the Americas, Europe, Asia, Africa, Middle East. So very diverse groups. And there's not one group that's more than 30% of the class. So some MBAs might say we're international, but they're maybe, you know, 90% Chinese or Indian or something, one nationality. But here it's really mixed. And the French only represent usually about 15% of the students. And it can vary from year to year where they come from. Also diverse in terms of professional backgrounds, because we think that it is enriching, any kind of diversity is enriching for us. So we have students from who work in marketing, who work in sales, who work in finance and banking and insurance, procurement, supply chain, human resources. But we also have industrial engineers, people from IT. We've had doctors, designers, architects, teachers. It's really, for us, it's really more about where you want to go than, you know, where you're coming from. It's your career goals. You know, do you want to, I'm going to say this again, make a positive impact? Do you want to make a change for the better? You know, what are your career goals? Do you want to boost your career? You want to set up your own company? That's very important for us. So if you're looking for diversity in a small group, this is the place to come. Just a few career statistics. As I said, because it's important for an MBA, you're wanting to, if you're doing an MBA in general, you want to change your career or you want to boost your career, you know, break that ceiling and get to another level, or you want to set up your own company and be your own boss. So our career outcomes, you see about over 70% are employed before graduating. That's usually through the internship, or they could be headhunted. After it's a little bit over 90%. About 43%, so around 40% work in France. And knowing that there's only about 15% who are French, that's a good number. I'm not going to say that it's easy to find a job in France, but if you use all of our career services from the very beginning and you learn French, there are opportunities there. We also have graduates who work in other European countries. That's also a possibility. What do the graduates do? Our graduates, that's also, you see, quite diverse. Because we have such a diverse classroom, of course, they also go into diverse careers. Mainly executive management and entrepreneurship, around 20%. After that is consulting. Those are about the same. Consulting is a major outcome for graduates. Then we have some in sales, marketing, communications. It's quite mixed after that. So you can really go to do, would help build you for a lot of different careers. So I know everybody's interested in this scholarships, of course, because it's great to come to a world-renowned MBA, AAA accredited, highly ranked. But we're talking about return on investment. So why we have a return on investment at Audencia that's very high is that we also have invested very heavily in scholarships. And this is also part of our whole value system of societal responsibility. So we practice what we preach. It's a small program. We can do this in our MBA. We really invest because we want to make the MBA accessible worldwide. And we know that in all countries don't have the same level of income or cost of living as we do here. Especially this year, we've even put in higher scholarships this year because of the pandemic. We know it's even more of a challenge this year, maybe currency differences, etc. So these are some of the scholarships. It goes up to 50%. If you finish your online application before the end of this month, you'll automatically get a 30% tuition fee waiver. The full cost, I'm not even sure if I put it on here, is 31,500 euros. I apologize for that. I forgot. So 31,500 euros is the full price, 30% by the end of this month. There's also 30% for certain nationalities. You can contact me if you want to know if you're eligible. There's a professional project. If you submit, I can also send you the guidelines if you're interested. I'll give you my contact information after. That can go up to 50%. And in addition to that, you can also apply for an additional scholarship for living costs or tuition that's based on merit and need. That's through our foundation where companies donate money. And we also, if you happen to live, it's mainly in Latin America, in Colombia and in Mexico in particular, but also in Ecuador and Honduras, we have partner institutes. We have partnerships where you can get 50% if you're accepted through them. French government sometimes has other things. This is just a disclaimer. Unfortunately, you can't accumulate the 50 and the 30 and get 80%, sorry. But if you're eligible for more than one, we'll give you the highest of those. So admissions, as I said earlier, the minimum requirement is 3 years of full-time postgraduate work experience. So internships do not count for this, nor does part-time work. It has to be after you've graduated. A bachelor's degree, so at least a 3 years degree minimum. English proficiency. English proficiency, I'll say that later. So the documents, the online application, you need to submit, of course, a CV in English, a photo ID, your academic transcripts translated into English or into French, or we can also accept some other languages like Spanish that we can understand, or German. But you do need to get them translated for when you come. Of course, a cover letter explaining your motivations to the program in English. Our English test score, if you've done your studies in English, your higher education in English, or your native course, nothing required. If not, then you do need to submit an IELTS, TOEIC, TOEFL, or we do accept Duolingo this year and last year because of the pandemic, because it was difficult for a lot of students to get their test scores. There's no strict minimum. We generally like to have at least like a 6 of IELTS, but there's no strict minimum because we also do an interview on Skype in English to double check on that. And you do need to be proficient and at ease in English, but we're not looking for the same level of fluency. For example, if you're going to study in the UK or the US, for that, because it's basically a second language for most of the students, except of course we do have some Americans and or from South Africa or other like English-speaking countries. The GMAT and GRE that is required, but we have put into place kind of a compromise once again to kind of take away this barrier, because we know how stressful it is to take the GMAT, and we also know that you're busy professionals, you probably don't have that much time, and the idea of going back and studying and doing this. So what we did is that we allow you can get conditional admission. For example, you can apply before the end of this month to get the early application tuition fee waiver, and you can submit your GMAT before the class starts in September. This means that we can't really ask for a minimum score for the GMAT because we can't have you, taking out a loan, quitting your job and for the last minute and doing that. But we do want you to take it seriously. We do want you to strive to get a high score because it's also good for us. And that's the reason that we actually pay for any registered students to do an online tutoring. It's a package that costs about $600 US for you. For us, we run a large amount of these. That's in order to help you prepare for it, take your time, take stress away from it, and then when you're ready to take it and to send it to us. I can explain it more later if that's not clear. It's a bit complicated. So applying, of course, you'll have the online, everything is online. You'll fill out the forms, you'll upload the documents. Actually, I can offer, normally there's a €100 application fee, but I'm offering anybody who's participating in this webinar. Oh, and I misspelled this. I don't know. I think I was tired when I did this PowerPoint. I apologize. Of course, it's not Audencia, it's Audencia.com. But you'll have our contact information at the end. You can contact us and say you're participating in this webinar, and then we can waive that €100 just as a thank you for taking the time. Then you'll have your admissions interview, and you'll get the results within 1 and 2 weeks. Applications are on a rolling basis, so you can apply anytime up until probably June. But of course, there's this deadline of March 31st for the automatic 30% tuition fee waiver if you're wanting to apply for this year. And then you need to make just a down payment of, if you want to come, €1,500 and sign a contract in order to be fully enrolled in the program. And that's when we'll give you all the documents for your visa. And that's also when we'll give you the online GMAT tutoring as well. And if you need some extra time to decide if you want to come to us, or you want to come somewhere else, then we can give you some extra time at the moment. We're quite flexible. So this is our contact information, and it's spelled correctly this time. Yay. International@audencia.com. It's a Skype ID, our WhatsApp, our Facebook, Instagram. I know these are a little bit long, these links. So if you're interested, I encourage you to take a screenshot or something, or a photo. You can also make an appointment to talk to me personally if you'd like to really go over maybe your individual career goals, see if it's a fit, or you have really some specific questions, or just want to talk to me about the MBA. Then you can schedule a call, and it's 30 minutes, either by WhatsApp or by Skype or by Teams, and we can talk one-to-one. I also like to invite you to our virtual open house next week, next Wednesday, March 10th. It's the first time we're doing this. It's a big event. It's all day French time, of course, 9 in the morning to 9 in the evening. There will be a conference about the MBA at 1:30 p.m. French time with the MBA director, with 2 current students and 2 alumni. So that could be interesting for you to get their perspective of things and to also ask their questions to them and not just to me. And so you can sign up for it. Here they have the link here as well. There'll be a booth where you can talk to career services, talk to students, talk to alumni, talk to admissions officers, etc. So now I'm ready. Exactly 35 minutes, great. So now I'm ready to field questions.
Hello again from me. Before we start with the questions, actually we have a lot of questions. I would like to launch a poll and would like to ask you to answer what's your first important thing when you choose your MBA. So please, it will be much appreciated to give your vote. And meanwhile, thank you, Michelle, for this informative information. It was really interesting.
You're welcome. I'm excited about getting this.
Great, I can see some answers.
Do that. I'm just having a look at some of the questions in the meantime.
There is a questions in the chat box as well and in the Q&A. So thank you for all of the questions.
Yeah, thanks everyone for the questions. I'll try to get to all of them, but if ever I don't have time to answer all of the questions, please reach out to me. You have the contact information on this last screen, and I can give it to you again if necessary.
Okay, so I will end the poll, and the most important criteria is the recognition and then the price. That's the
not a big surprise, but it's also interesting to with the COVID situation. So yeah. Definitely.
Okay, so we can go with the questions now. First one is from someone who is with Zambian holder of degree in business and economics from Atlantic International University. And he's asking, can I be accommodated with your university for my MBA in France? Have this information.
Yeah, I don't have enough information to say. It would depend on your work experience. If as I said, you do have to have 3 years of full-time work experience. If you don't have 3 years of full-time work experience, if you're just graduating, for example, you won't be eligible for MBA, but you would be eligible for any of our master's programs. We have 11 different master's programs, also taught in English, either in general management or in supply chain purchasing management, food and agribusiness management, for example. There's many different options for you. If I didn't talk about it here because the subject was the MBA, but if ever you don't have 3 years of work experience, then you can contact us and we can give you all the information you need about our masters. If anyone there, like this person who asked the question, would like to know specifically if they're eligible, then please don't hesitate to send us an email, this international@audencia.com. You can send your CV, even your or academic transcripts, and then ask for an assessment, and we can do that, no problem.
Thank you for the answer. Someone from Benin Republic will be happy to get more detailed about the admission process. So do you know what's the admission process for Benin citizens? That's the question.
No, the process is the same for everybody. No matter where you're from, even for the French, it's the same. The process is you fill out the form online, putting the slide back on. You'll upload your transcripts. Oh, I forgot, here's actually also your diploma, a copy of your degree, your cover letter, English test score, unless you've done your studies in English. In that case, we don't need that. All of that, and then since you're participating in this webinar, you can contact us to waive the application fee. We will go over your file, and if you are eligible, then we'll ask you for the interview. If you're not eligible or some documents are missing, then we'll contact you maybe to propose, for example, a master's instead, if you don't have enough work experience, right? The application process, admissions process is the same for masters. If you don't have that work experience, it's just the admissions criteria is different.
Thank you, Michelle, for the answer. Another question is it possible to work while you're studying? Mm-hmm.
The answer is yes and no. So yes, legally in France on a student visa, you're allowed to work part-time around 20 hours a week. So that's the yes part of it. The no part is that it is a full-time program. All of our programs are full-time. You won't be able to work 20 hours a week. Some students are work part-time maybe on the weekends. But we do ask you to be available for classes Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, available on the weekends. Also, I would caution against depending on working part-time to live. It can be a little plus, but otherwise, if you don't, especially if you don't speak French, it can be also difficult to get a part-time job. On that same note, if you do ask for a visa extension, that might be another question I think I saw, is that you're allowed to, in France, apply for a visa extension. If you haven't found a job before you graduate, you can ask for a 1-year extension to your visa, which will allow you to stay in France and look for a job. And on that, you're still considered a student. So there you'll have time, you can work 20 hours a week in that case. It's not guaranteed that you'll get that extension, but if you do apply and you follow the rules, it's up to you to do that. And so most students who apply for it do receive that. Also, the internships are paid. And that might also be another question that I'm getting ahead of. But I'm asking.
Yeah, I think that there is a question like this because I go through the.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and answer the question about internships. Internships in France, if you do your internship in France, your internship would be between 4 and 6 months. And the law in France is if you have an internship that's over 3 months, you have to be paid a minimum of somewhere around 550 euros per month. But the average for our students at an MBA or master's level is much higher. It's usually about twice as much. So it's up to you to negotiate it. I said we do help you. We train you in negotiating as well. So that during that 4 to 6 months, if you do an internship, you will be getting, it's not called a salary, it's remuneration. You're still considered a student. It's not a work visa. You're still a student, but you will be receiving compensation for your work. If you do your internship in other countries, usually it is paid too, but I can't say. It really depends on the country and what you're able to negotiate.
Thank you so much for the answer. I can see another question that sounds like this. Is it possible to receive scholarship directly from a recruiting organization? Do you have such information?
Directly from the recruiting organization?
Yes.
I'm not sure what is meant by recruiting organization, but yeah, I'm not really sure what's meant by that. I can explain our scholarships. The scholarships are, here we go. If you get, for example, if you apply before, you finish your online application before the end of March, we will, on your contract, we'll take out the 30% directly. So you don't, it's not money we give you, it's that much less that you have to pay. Okay, same thing for if you get the Executive Leadership Fellowship. This is Audencia that gives you a discount on your tuition fees. If you get a foundation, an additional scholarship, but for example, from our foundation, that could either be money that will be put in your bank account on a monthly basis from October after you're here, or it could also be paid towards your tuition fees. So I'm not sure if I understood that question correctly, but that's it. It's either taken directly out of your tuition fees, or sometimes it can be an additional funds.
Thank you for this detailed answer. Another question is, can you provide some information for student accommodation for the students?
Yes. So accommodation, we don't have our own like dorms or campus. That's actually quite rare in France. I don't know if you remember when I talked to you about Nantes, this big student city. It's also a very well-linked city with the transportation. It's very green, very livable. So you don't really need to be anywhere near the school. You can get housing. You can be anywhere in the city, and nothing is more than half an hour away. Let's say maybe 40 minutes max. So what you'll do is once you're registered to the program, we'll give you access. We have a housing portal. You'll have a login and you'll have access all in English to all of the different offers. There's public subsidized student housing. There's private student housing. There's private lofts. There's family stay. There's all sorts of different options, and you'll have all that with the price, with the location, with the different all the different aspects with the photo, whether or not you'll be eligible for state grant to help with housing, because most international, well, all international students are eligible from help from the state to pay their rent, which is, I don't know how they calculate it honestly, but it's usually between 90 and 200 euros a month. And then you have to make sure that it's your accommodation is eligible for that. On that note, accommodation can vary between 300 and 600 euros a month before you get the help from the state. The earlier you apply, the more options you'll have that are around maybe 350 before the help from the state. And that's mainly either family stay or what's called EQUIS, which is the French state. It's subsidized student housing. That's maybe big dorms, so that it's mixed between international and French and different schools.
Thank you so much for the detailed answer. Another question is, are there any programs to improve my skill of language in French if I want to stay around 3 months before beginning the program?
3 months before, we don't have anything. That's a bit too much ahead, but of course you can come earlier and you can sign up for French. French is a foreign language at the public university at Nantes, which is literally across the street from Audencia. And it's a very low cost because, you know, it's a public university. At the school itself, we have optional French lessons that are, we have some that are free of charge. I actually have a meeting next week to try to even get more of those in place because people do ask for it. So I'm hoping that by this September, we'll have even more. And then you'll have free access to Assimil, which is a method of self-learning in French as well. And then these, with the student associations, they have language exchange groups as well. So we typically have maybe a couple of weeks before, but if you want to come actually, you know, a longer time, then you'd have to look for yourself, especially University of Nantes.
Thank you for the answer. Another question sounds like this. How many years I can stay in Nantes or in France in general to look for a job after the program? Thank you in advance.
That's what I was mentioning earlier about a visa extension. What here they call an API. Yeah, a visa extension, you can apply. I think it's 2 months before your student visa is going to expire. I do encourage you to, if you come here, to get that information yourself again, because they can change it without asking us. But in general, it's 2 months before. You apply for it, give all the documents. We'll give you the documents from the school. And then you're allowed to stay. In general, it's 6 months automatically renewable, so 1 year. And during that time, you're able to work part-time. You're still a student. You're not able to work full-time, but you're able to look for a job. And if you find a job, either it has to be certain under certain conditions. So for example, it has to be an open-ended contract. There's a minimum salary. It has to be something related to your studies. And then you can get your work visa. It's a 1-year renewable work visa. In that case. So as I said, it's not automatic, you have to apply for it, but in general, most of the students who apply do get it. I think there is an exception for Indian students who can actually get 2 years instead of 1. But I have to double check on that if that's still the case, but the last time I heard it is.
Great, thank you for the answer. There is another question for visas while we are still here on this topic. Do Audencia support students in getting their visas in some way? Do you have such information?
Yeah, what we do is we give you, once you're registered to the program, with admissions, you've paid the down payment, you signed your contract, we'll give you all the official documents you'll need to start your visa process. but then it's up to you to go. Campus France. France does have your local Campus France is there also to give you that information and to guide you and prepare you for your visa process with the embassy. We don't have any. We're actually not allowed to have direct links with the embassy, but we can give you tips and information about that. But that's mainly is that we provide all the documents that you require for that. And it really depends on, because the visa procedure is quite different. There's not one visa procedure and one requirement for all students in the whole world coming to study in France. It depends on the country. That's why we can't say, in India, it can be different from in Nigeria than in Colombia. They don't have the same requirements.
Thank you so much for this information. I think that you have answered almost all of the questions. I have